Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my 2020 SEDAAG online presentation. The title is Slogging and Blogging Through the GEOG-ing, the use of student blog websites as an alternative to lectures in an upper-level hybrid geography course. I'm Dennis Edgell from the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. The keywords for my presentation are geographic education, regional geography, and blogging. This may not be a teaching and educational session, but I'm happy to be here and to tell you this story. To give you some background about North America or the geography of the United States and Canada, at UNCP, it's not a general education course. It's what's known as an upper level course, junior course, which our geo majors take as an elective. Well, the story is I didn't want to build another lecture course where it was another death by PowerPoint course. I thought students would learn better by their own research and writing rather than listening to me lecture. And I've always noticed that students love posting photos and comments on social media. They love to take pictures of their breakfast or their coffee and then sharing them online and LOLing and OMGing all of the time. And so I got to thinking, well, could students learn to love geography if they posted about it? If they blogged about it, where the writing would be less formal, could they make a connection that way? So students might answer a question about orographic precipitation on one blog or debate gentrification on another. And they're also learning and writing by critiquing some of their fellow classmates' posts. And all through the course, I was challenging students to find your voice, your own unique voice as a writer. Well, each student created their own free blog website on WordPress, and they were to blog anonymously. They weren't supposed to tell the world that they were doing this as an assignment. They were supposed to take on the persona of a professional writer. The course itself, it was delivered in hybrid format. Sometimes we met in the classroom, sometimes online. There were some weeks where students just blogged, and I read their blogs and commented. There were a few typical geography quizzes that were in there, but for the most part, most of their learning was by them researching and writing. For the most part, they got to choose their topics that they wanted to write about out of a select number. And this is a quick view of the home pages of some of the student websites, and most of them turned out pretty well. A number of them, they experimented with different layouts, and they could add photos, videos, and their web links, social media links if they wanted to do that. I liked how this one student wrote series of posts where she every week she looked at a different place along Route 66 through the Southwest. I always liked transects. And one of the blogging challenge questions that I gave is, well, can you write about the geography that's in a movie or a book or a song? And so this student did that. One of the students I was talking to is trying to find his voice, and I suggested to them, well, why don't you just explain the answer to the question the same as you would explain it to a friend of yours that you're having coffee at Starbucks with? What words, what phrasing would you use? Write that down and see if that works better for you. Well, there were a lot of lessons here. One student was very surprised to see that indeed your writing is going to be out there for the world to see. Yes, and also I want to point out Boromir's meme as well. The course was evaluated uh, by the UNSP Teaching and Learning Center, and most of the feedback was pretty positive, mostly about me being flexible on some of those due dates so that they could do another draft of an article. Another important part of the course was that one big article was supposed to be a region-specific research project on a topic of their choice. And they ended up presenting their topics at the Pembroke Undergraduate Research and Creativity Conference. So this was the first conference for almost all of them. And here's some of the posters. I won't spend a whole lot of time explaining those, but I think that they did a pretty good job and they defended their ideas very well at the poster session. Some unique things were considered. The outcomes, well, they own a commercial website. Uh, they can monetize them if they want to. And one student I was telling, well, if you go to a party and they ask you what you do and what happens if you're unemployed, well, you can always tell them right now. You can always get out a card and say, oh, what do I do? I'm a writer. So they're all writers now. They're also real academic researchers, and they've been published as well because their abstracts for their project were posted in uh, the conference abstracts. So they are all real writers. And a couple of the students collaborated on one of their articles, and they presented at SEDAAG last year. The results varied by students. Some had more success than others, but I think it's a good idea. And especially for a class that has to be online or is going to move online. Although one warning I would say that I don't suggest this method for general education students. I think this works better in a specialized niche type course. And the good news is that I'm going to be doing this course again in the spring term. I'd like to acknowledge the $1,000 grant I was given by the UNSP Teaching and Learning Center to redevelop my syllabus, although I would have done it for free. And finally, appreciation is given to the Geography of North America students from spring 2019 who helped me develop these ideas. Thank you. And also thank you, SEDAAG.